Hello students, very good evening to all of you. Yes, good evening Deepak, Revati, Praju, Raman. So Raman, the lecture has already started. Okay, very well done. I can see all of you are presenting on time. That is very well done. Yes, hello Deepak. So, in today's session, we are going to learn Jacobian age. So, till yesterday हमने जो एज पढ़ा था वो था एलिजाबेथन एज, है ना. और आज के सेशन में हम पढ़ेंगे Jacobian age. So now when we actually talk about Jacobian age, there is very important questions. मतलब ऐसे बहुत common questions है जो हर किसी के mind में आते हैं. Okay. Yes, and one more important thing that I want to highlight here is that कि अगर आप राजस्थान स्टेट के स्टूडेंट्स हैं तो आपके लिए एक बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट न्यूज़ है यहाँ पे कि अब आरपीएससी की हमने न्यू बैच स्टार्ट की है फॉर इंग्लिश. यू कैन डेफिनेटली गो टू आवर वेबसाइट एंड चेक द डिटेल्स ऑफ इट. ओके, and yes, so here we are going to talk about the Jacobian age. Okay, so in Jacobian age we are going to understand about the history of the age, background of the age, theme of the age, as well as style of this age. So जैसे हम हर एक टाइप के एज के बारे में स्टडी कर रहे हैं अबाउट द ब्रिटिश लिटरेचर. इट इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट दैट आफ्टर एलिजाबेथन एज देयर वाज जैकोबियन एज एंड व्हाट हैपेंड एक्चुअली इन जैकोबियन एज. What was the transformations that took place? What are the events that took place? Who were the famous poets, writers, dramatists, playwrights? Plus who are the authors, as well as what are the important works written by them is also important. Yes, but ये सारे सवाल आने से पहले there is another important question that strikes in everyone's mind. That is the first question: who was the king in this? Who was the ruler of this age? Who can give me the answer? Who was the ruler of this age? Yes, Sonam, Deepak, can you try? Who is the ruler of this age? Who was the ruler of Jacobian age? For example, जैसे अब तक हमने स्टडी किया है that Elizabeth was the ruler in the Elizabethan age. So was Jacob in the Jacobian age? कौन बता सकता है मुझे? Yes, students, try कीजिए. कौन हो सकता है the ruler? Why nobody is trying? What happened? नहीं जानते, गेस भी नहीं कर सकते. कोई बात नहीं, I'll tell you. So, who was the ruler in this age? It was King James. Okay? अब आप कहोगे कि मैम फिर इस एज का नाम जैकोबियन एज क्यों है? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल रिमेंबर, अब यस, बिफोर दिस क्वेश्चन कि जैकोबियन क्यों है, ये तो सेकेंड पार्ट आता है. उससे भी पहले एक सवाल आपके माइंड में आना चाहिए दैट कि इस एज को मतलब हु वॉज जेम्स. क्योंकि हमें क्या पता है, जैसे हम पहले से क्या जानते आए हैं कि जो राजा होगा उसका बेटा ही बाद में जाके राजा बनता है. जैसे अगर मान लो कि एलिजाबेथ अगर बनी है क्वीन, तो ऑब्वियसली एलिजाबेथ का या तो बेटा या तो बेटी बननी चाहिए थी राजा. क्यों नहीं बनी होगी? क्यों? एज वी ऑल नो दैट कि उसको कोई बेटी या बेटा था ही नहीं. वी नो दैट एलिजाबेथ वाज द वर्जिन क्वीन. शी डिड नॉट मैरी टू एनीवन. तो फिर कौन बना है यहाँ पे राजा और कैसे जेम्स राजा बना है ना? सो ये अगेन क्वेश्चन है, हु इज जेम्स, वेयर ही केम फ्रॉम, कहाँ से आया है वो. इफ एलिजाबेथ रूल्ड एंड सेड एलिजाबेथन एज. देखिए ये एक और सवाल आपके माइंड में आना चाहिए. इफ when Elizabeth ruled, द एज वॉज कॉल्ड एज एलिजाबेथन एज। अब अगर इस एज में, सो व्हाई दिस एज इज नॉट कॉल्ड एज जमेशियन एज, है ना, ये सवाल आपके माइंड में जरूर आना चाहिए। अगर जेम्स नाम है तो जमेशियन एज क्यों नहीं रखा गया इसका नाम, है ना। सो इसका जो जवाब है दैट इट इज जेम्स, जो वर्ड है, जेम्स जो नाम है, उस नाम का लैटिन वर्ड क्या है, जैकोबस। ओके, एंड जैकोबस इस वर्ड से इस एज का नाम पड़ा है जैकोबियन एज। गॉट द आंसर? आया समझ में क्यों इसका नाम जैकोबियन एज है? इट वॉज जेम्स, और जेम्स का लैटिन नेम क्या है, जैकोबस, और जैकोबस की वजह से उसका नाम पड़ा है जैकोबियन एज। ओके, आया समझ में? तो नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक कि एक्चुअल में जो हमारे जेम्स है वो किस तरीके से राजा बने। ओके, सो हम उनकी थोड़ी सी हायरार्की समझने की यहाँ पे कोशिश करते हैं। जैसे सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे ये हेनरी। ओके, सो हेनरी 7th जो थे उनसे हम बात स्टार्ट करते हैं। सो हेनरी द 7th के बच्चे थे, ओके, किड्स थे। हेनरी द 8th, तो हेनरी दी 8 जो है वो बड़ा बेटा था। ओके, एंड मार्गरेट जो थी वो बेटी, छोटी बेटी थी। एंड ऑब्वियसली अगर बेटा होगा तो बेटी को सेकंड प्रेफरेंस दिया जाता है, मार्गरेट ट्यूटर। ओके, देन अब जो हेनरी दी 8 है ना, उसकी जो बेटी है वो है एलिजाबेथ। ओके, एलिजाबेथ फर्स्ट। सो अब ऑब्वियसली बड़े बेटे की जो बेटी होगी वो बाद में रूल करेगी। यहां पे मार्गरेट वॉज मैरिड टू जेम्स दी 4th। ओके, अब मार्गरेट ने किससे शादी कर ली थी, जेम्स दी 4th के साथ। अब उससे उसको वापस 2 बच्चे हुए। तो यहां पे जेम्स दी 5th यहां पे था, प्लस मैरी उनकी बेटी हुई। सॉरी, मैरी शायद बीवी थी। ओके, प्लीज जस्ट कंफर्म, आई डोंट रिमेंबर इट। उसके बाद यहां पे अब जेम्स दी 5th का बेटा था जेम्स दी 6th। ओके, एंड सो यहाँ पे बिकॉज ऑफ मैरी दी 1st, यहाँ पे एक्चुअल में ये जो स्टेज है यहाँ पे जब मैरी दी 1st थी तभी एलिजाबेथ भी थी, एलिजाबेथ 1st भी थी। ओके, सो अब एलिजाबेथ रूल कर रही थी बिकॉज शी वॉज जो लीगल हायरार्की जो होती है उसकी वजह से वो क्वीन बन गई थी। लेकिन अब एलिजाबेथ को तो कोई बच्चा था ही नहीं, उसने तो कभी शादी नहीं की, इसीलिए ये जो पास ऑन किया गया वो यहां पास ऑन किया गया। अब इसी के साथ वाले तो ये थे उस जनरेशन के, लेकिन अब सेकंड जनरेशन को मिलना चाहिए, इसीलिए जेम्स द 6th को ये पोजीशन मिली। आया समझ में? यस यस श्योर। देखो ये दिस इज द होल हायरार्की, यू कैन टेक द स्क्रीनशॉट नाउ। आई होप इट इज क्लियर टू एवरीवन। ले लिया सब लोगों ने स्क्रीनशॉट? तो बेसिकली आपको स्क्रीनशॉट लेने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि इसकी जो पीडीएफ है वो आपको हमारे ऐप में मिलेगी। पूरी की पूरी पीडीएफ आपको मिलने वाली है। तो सिर्फ एक पेज का, एक पीपीटी का स्क्रीनशॉट लेने मत बैठिए, या हर एक इसका स्क्रीनशॉट मत लीजिए। मैं आपको ये पूरी की पूरी पीपीटी विथ दीज इंटरनेशंस आपको मैं सेंड करने वाली हूँ। थ्रू आवर ऐप। और वो आपको कैसे मिलेगी, आपको सिर्फ हमारे ऐप को डाउनलोड करना है, खुद को उस पर रजिस्टर करना है एंड इस पीपीटी का डाउनलोड करना है। ओके, दिस इज अ वेरी इजी मेथड एंड नॉट ओनली पीपीटी, आपको इसी के साथ साथ हम हमारे जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट इस ये जो अभी आप पढ़ रहे हो इस पे बेस्ड हम कॉन्टेस्ट भी हमने दी है, वहां पे क्वेश्चंस दिए हैं, आपको वो कॉन्टेस्ट देनी है एंड जल्दी ही हम उसके विनर्स भी डिक्लेयर करेंगे। ओके, एंड विनर्स को एक्साइटिंग प्राइजेस भी मिलने वाले हैं। सो जितने ज़्यादा आप उसमें एक्टिव रहोगे ऐप पे, उतने ज़्यादा चांसेस है एक तो आपका कॉन्सेप्ट भी क्लियर होगा एज वेल एज आपको प्राइजेस भी मिल सकते हैं। ओके, सो ये एक और इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ है, ध्यान रखिए। तो चलिए अब आगे बढ़ते हैं। और तो आई होप कि जेम्स 6 पिक्चर में कैसे आए ये आप लोगों को पता चल गया होगा। ओके, then there is another important thing that is bonfire treason. Okay, so ये जो bonfire treason है ना, it was happened, so यहाँ पे मैं लिख लेती हूँ, sorry, yeah, so it was actually I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm not able to get it. Extremely sorry. Yeah. So I'll use another pen so that आपको इसका डिफरेंस समझ में आएगा. So basically it is called as bonfire treason. अब इस bonfire treason में ये कब हुआ था? So it actually happened in 5th of November. ओके, अब इसमें हुआ क्या था? सो बेसिकली इन दी बॉनफायर, सो अगर आज भी आप इंग्लैंड में जाओगे तो 5th of November बहुत ही स्पेशल डे माना जाता है। और आज भी आप बच्चों को देखोगे कि वो उनके जो भी पुराने जो किंग थे, जैसे जो जेम्स है, ऐसे उनके हम क्या कहते हैं उनको, ऐसे पुतला या पपेट टाइप्स बनाते हैं। स्टूडेंट्स आज भी बनाते हैं वहाँ के बच्चे, प्लस वो उनको जलाते हैं। ओके, सो बेसिकली इस बॉनफायर ट्रीजन में क्या हुआ था? सो जो प्रोटेस्टेंट्स थे ना, सो देयर वर पीपल हु वर अपोजिंग दिस किंग जेम्स दी 6th। ओके, सो अब जो अपोज कर रहे थे उन्होंने प्लान बनाया। क्या प्लान बनाया उन्होंने? कि हम राजा को उसका जो भी पैलेस है उसमें जला देंगे। ओके, सो बेसिकली सो इट वाज सिमिलर टू दशहरा। ओके, सो इट इज आपको अगर समझना चाहते हो इसको तो आप दशहरे की तरह इसको ट्रीट कर सकते हो। दशहरे में हम कैसे रावण को जलाते हैं, सिमिलरली ऑन November 5 स्टूडेंट्स जो बच्चे जो हैं वहाँ के, या तब के ज़माने में तो बड़े बड़े लोग भी, उन्होंने भी उनके पुतले को जलाया था तब। ओके, सो इट इज सिमिलर टू द दशहरा एंड द स्टोरीज इट्स द इंग्लिश कैथोलिक हु वर अगेंस्ट द किंग, सो दे डिसाइडेड टू ब्लो द पार्लियामेंट। अब जो किंग थे वो कहाँ रहते थे? पार्लियामेंट में। सो उन्होंने क्या डिसाइड किया? टू ब्लो द पार्लियामेंट एंड किल द किंग। ओके, ये उनका अल्टीमेट उनका डिसीजन था। ओके, सो यस, दीपक इज आस्किंग वाज ही अ बैड पर्सन? सो यहाँ पे देखो दीपक, देयर इज नथिंग सच एज गुड एंड बैड, ये सब्जेक्टिव होता है। सो दिस इज बेसिकली ऑन अस, whom we feel good, whom we feel bad. So the people who were against the, because now James the 6th was with Catholic, so he was Catholic. So the people who used to believe in Catholicism, they were with him. But then there were also the Protestants who were against the Catholics. So then those, for them he was a bad person. Yes, so that is why they decided to kill him. Okay, so but fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, but he was so somebody from his spies gave him this message that this is going to happen. So basically what happened in that age, on that day, so what they the people who are the Protestants, they planned that they are going to keep the grenades, okay, बारूद वो पूरे के पूरे बेसमेंट में फैला देंगे एंड उसको ही आग लगा देंगे. दैट वाज हिज प्लान, देयर प्लान. बट एंड पार्लियामेंट में ऑब्वियसली किंग तो होगा ही, एंड दे आर गोइंग टू ब्लो द किंग एज वेल. बट द स्पाई गेव द किंग दिस मैसेज एंड द किंग ran from there. So he was saved and he was alive. तब तो वो alive थे. Then the fire was there, लेकिन उससे किंग को कुछ नहीं हुआ. Okay. So yes, that was the whole story about bonfire treason. So there are questions being asked in your exam as well about this bonfire treason. Okay, so they might ask you what was the story, or they might give you the story and ask कि ये इस event का नाम क्या था. They might also ask कि ये event कब happen हुआ. Okay, and what was the reason behind it. They might ask anything, or who was the king that the Protestants wanted to kill. So then the answer will be James the Sixth. Okay, so these are some of the questions based on this particular topic. Okay, so you have to remember this. Okay, so here Ankit is saying बहुत ही interesting. It's interesting. Yes. So Ankit, basically this whole literature is interesting. So literature is something. So even earlier when I actually started learning literature, I was scared about British literature. I used to think that it is so vast. How am I going to cover this much of syllabus? But then gradually, when I actually started to learn, I started to read the books and started to know the history of the British literature. Gradually, I started developing interest in it. Okay, and this is same. I want you all to do it, and I want every one of you to love the literature. If you will love the literature, it will become easier for you to understand it as well. Okay, and if you will understand, so it is vice versa as well. So if you will understand the literature, you are definitely going to love it as well. Okay, so this is another thing you should remember. Okay, so yeah, that was about the bonfire treason. Now we looked at the historical events and we looked at the background of the Jacobean age. Now the time comes to know about the important poets of this age. Who were the important poets of this age? So the first name should be obviously John Donne. Okay, so why John Donne? Because first of all, remember that when John Donne name is there, what you have to remember is that he is linked with the metaphysical poetry. So basically, metaphysical poetry started with John Donne. Okay, so so he was a metaphysical poet. He was a very famous metaphysical poet. You should remember. Then next is, so what basically metaphysical means? So it's a philosophical. Okay, philosophical poems was written basically by John Donne. Okay, the second important thing you should remember about him, John Donne, is that he has a relationship with spirituality. So he used to believe in God. He has a very good relationship with the spirituality. So he wrote most of his works based on the spirituality. Okay. Then next is he is considered as the greatest love poet as well. Okay, so remember this also, that he was not writing only the metaphysical poetry, but he was also considered as the greatest love poet. Okay, now here the love that he showed was again with the God. Okay, and there are also some other poems written by him which are very beautiful. And he also noted for religious verse. So he wrote religious works as well as love poetry as well. Now we will talk about the famous works of him. The first famous work that you have to remember is the canonization. Okay, so what is there in canonization that you can definitely find it out. Then the Flia, then the Good Morrow, and Death Be Not Proud. So this is basically a holy sonnet where he complains to God about death. Okay, this is a holy sonnet. And a valediction forbidding mourning. Yes, Deepak, you are talking something about Thomas Middleton. Can you please elaborate what you actually want to say about Thomas Middleton? So these are the important works. Basically, these are the most famous works of John Donne, which you have to remember when you are studying about metaphysical poetry, or you might be studying for John Donne, or you might be studying for Jacobean age, anything. So he is a key figure of Jacobean age and metaphysical age. Okay. Then the second important figure we are going to talk here is Richard Crashaw. Who is Richard Crashaw basically? So he is a poet known for religious verse of vibrant style. How was the style? Vibrant style. What's the meaning of vibrant? Yes, Deepak, can you tell me what is the meaning of vibrant? Yes, I'm waiting for your answers. Okay, so here Deepak is saying energetic. Yes, absolutely correct. So basically vibrant means energetic style, which is new, which is active, is what vibrant. So he wrote in religious verse, that too in a vibrant style. Isn't it contradicting with itself? Yes. So but yes, definitely. So again, this is the another important thing. So 3 poems in honor of mystical Saint Teresa Avila is written by Richard Crashaw. Okay, so we will understand which are these 3. So it is a hymn to Saint Teresa. Second, an apology for the forgiving hymn, and the flaming heart. Okay, so these are the 3 important poems he wrote for the mystical saint Teresa of Avila. Okay, so this is another important thing you have to remember about Richard Crashaw. Clear with this? Yeah. Let's move ahead and look at the next. So it's Henry Wagin. So who was Henry Wagin? He was Welsh metaphysical poet. He was author and translator. Okay, he was translator and a medical physician. Can you see how many qualities he had in himself? So here we say that I cannot even pursue one thing at a time. So these poets, they were doing their basic profession was something else. Still, they were into writings. They were writing poetry and whatnot, which even inspires today. Yes. So he was a medical physician as well. He was translator, author, poet. And which poet he was? Welsh metaphysical poet. So in the exam, they might ask you the question that who is the Welsh metaphysical poet? So the answer will be Henry Wagin. Okay. Let's move ahead and look at the next point about him. He wrote religious poetry, appeared in Silex Scintillas in 1650. Okay. Then in 1646, his poem 10th Satire of Juvenile English was published. Okay. The 10th Satire of Juvenile English was published. In which year? So they might ask you this year. in which Henry Wagon's 10th satire of juvenile English was published. So you should know this, that it was published in 1646. Next. Now we are going to talk about George Herbert. Who was George Herbert? He influenced many poets. So many poets were influenced by George Herbert. By looking at his lifestyle, by looking at his works, a lot of other poets were inspired or influenced. Then his poetry was formally experienced. How was his poetry? His poetry was experienced, passionate, searching, and elegant. Okay, so these were the qualities of his writings. These are the qualities of his poems. Now we are going to look at some of the famous works of him. First one is Easter Wings. Second one is The Collar. Third is The Altar. Okay, so these are the three famous works written by George Herbert. There are a few more important works written by George Herbert, but that you have to find out and tell it to me, write it in the comment section, so that even other students will know about them, okay? The next we are going to talk about is Andrew Marvell. Here his lifespan is given to you. So he basically was present in 1621 to 1678. Okay, and what he was famous for? So his political reputation overshadowed of his poetry until the 20th century. Okay, so here you can see that because of his political background, his poetry was not into much recognition. Okay, so this was somewhere he felt the drawback, but this was only till 20th century. After 20th century, he started getting recognition for his poetry as well. Next is one of the best, he is also called as one of the best metaphysical poets. The famous works written by Andrew Marvell are To His Coy Mistress, then The Garden, and Horatian Ode, then Every Man in His Humor, and Every Man Out of His Humor. So these are the, I'm extremely sorry. Okay, so here, and Horatian Ode. Okay, so these are the three important works written by Andrew Marvell. So what is an ode? Ode is a poem or a song which is dedicated to somebody. Okay. So यहाँ पे I have got one comment from Sonam ma'am, era wise poets की information video चाहिए था. Okay Sonam, definitely I will talk about them in my some of the videos, or I might come up with some live lectures in which I'll be talking about era wise poets. Okay, so who are the important poets of which era? Okay, and I'll also try to cover their important works as well. Okay, let's see how fast I could come up with that. But thank you so much for the suggestion. It's a very good suggestion. Definitely it is going to help you all for clearing your UGC NET English, and it will simplify most of your studies. Okay, so आपको at least एक आप उसके basis पे you can make a structure. Yes, definitely Chinmay, I will जितना जल्दी possible हो, as soon as possible I will come up with such videos or maybe lives. Okay, चलिए, तो फिर as I told you, what is an ode? Ode is basically a poem or a song which you are dedicating to someone. Okay, so it is a Horatian ode. Now we are going to talk about the Ben Jonson. So who was Ben Jonson? He was a dramatist. He wrote different dramas. So English Stuart dramatist. He was lyric poet and he was literary critic. Okay. Then second, he was considered as second most important dramatist. Who is the first most important dramatist? if Ben Jonson is considered as the second most important dramatist, who is the first one? Who stands first in the list then? मैंने आपको लेक्चर में बताया था when I was teaching Elizabeth. I told you about this. Who can give me the answer? देखते हैं किसने ध्यान देके पढ़ा था लेक्चर. Who is considered as the first most important dramatist? Yes, Deepak, at least you should be able to give me the answer. आपने तो उसका प्ले भी देखा है. You told me in the last class. What is the answer? Yes. Quickly. Absolutely correct. So it is William Shakespeare. Very well done. So if William Shakespeare is considered as the first dramatist, Ben Jonson is considered as the second most important dramatist. Okay, and the famous works written by Ben Jonson are Bartholomew Fair, Kathleen, Every Man in His Humor, and Every Man Out of His Humor. Okay, so these are the dramas or famous works written by Ben Jonson. Yes, Kajal, very well done. आपका आंसर भी एकदम right है. It is the William Shakespeare who is the first most important dramatist. And who is the second now? Ben Jonson is the second. Understood? चलिए, now we will understand about George Chapman. Who is George Chapman? So he was a classical scholar. Okay. Plus, he was best remembered for his translation of Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Okay. Okay, so these are the only thing. So he was best known for his translation of Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Now you have to find out, so in which language Homer's Iliad and Odyssey was originally written. Okay, who was Homer and in which language he wrote it. Okay, so when you will understand who was Homer, definitely you are going to understand that in which language he wrote it, and then you will also be able to connect it with George Chapman, that he was the one who translated it. Okay, because he was very famous for it. Yes, and he was also considered as classical scholar. Obviously, what are the classics? The ones which has already happened, or the old ones. Okay, that is considered as the classics. So he was considered as the classical scholar, as well as he was famous for his translation of Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Okay, I hope you all are clear with this. Now this is the time for you all to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and also tell all your friends, share this link with all your friends, so that they should also study as you all are studying. Yes, हमें हमेशा sharing is caring. We all know that, right? So आप सबको share करना चाहिए. जितना ज़्यादा आप share करोगे, उतने ही caring आप बनोगे. Yes. So share with your friends, so that this video will reach to maximum UGC NET English aspirants and they won't miss their studies. Yes, because ultimately this whole lecture is designed, or this I am taking all these efforts for you all, right? So अगर आप तक ही ना पहुंच पाया, अगर हर एक UGC NET English aspirant के पास नहीं पहुंच पाया, तो मेरे इस लेक्चर का क्या फायदा? Yes, that is why share it with all your friends, those who all are preparing for UGC NET English exam, and ask them to join the sessions, ask them to subscribe to the channel, so that they will also start getting everything, each and every information related to UGC NET exam. Yes. So yes, we will end the session here for now, and we will meet in tomorrow's session with another important age and another important poets and writers. Okay, so thank you so much for your patient listening. You have been the fantastic audience. Until the time we meet next, happy learning and have a great day ahead.